Hi, today we will explain the plot of the movie called Ghost Rider, which was released in 2007.
Back to hell.
So, let's get straight to the storyline. There was a legend about a man who made a contract with the devil so that he had great strength and became the devil's accomplice. The man was called the Ghost Rider, and one day he was sent to an area called San Veganza to fulfill a contract for 1,000 demon souls. But in the end, the Ghost Rider ran away from the devil because he realized that the contract was very strong and he didn't want the devil to interfere too much.
He outran the devil himself.
Regardless of the truth of the legend, somewhere there was a man named Johnny who worked in the footsteps of his father Barton by doing motorcycle attractions. Johnny seemed close to his father, and at that time Johnny was also in love with a girl named Roxanne. One day, Johnny and Roxanne met at an appointment and Roxanne said that her father would send her away and told Roxanne not to have anything to do with Johnny. However, Roxanne loved Johnny very much, and when Johnny asked her to run away together, Roxanne agreed. Johnny then made a promise that he would pick up Roxanne at that place. When he returned home, Johnny found that his father had long suffered from cancer. When Johnny was upset, suddenly the devil named Mephisto came and offered a contract. He claimed to cure his father's cancer, but in exchange Johnny's soul would become his. Johnny didn't seem to believe the man's words, but Johnny was tricked into signing the contract with a drop of his blood.
Oh, that'll do just fine.
After that, Mephisto left. The next day, Johnny saw his father very healthy and fit. His father then told him that he had been suffering from cancer for a long time, but this morning he was declared cured and very healthy. Soon his father was preparing to do another attraction, but Johnny was preparing to leave. Finally, Johnny also told the truth that he did not want to spend his life doing attractions there. With a heavy heart, his father allowed him to leave and bless him with Roxanne. When Johnny was about to leave, he saw his father who died during the attraction. Mephisto was there and Johnny knew that this was all his doing. The sad Johnny went to pick up Roxanne, but on the way, he was intercepted by Mephisto. Johnny then wanted to attack him, but he could not touch Mephisto at all. Mephisto then emphasized that now Johnny's soul was his, so he told Johnny to come when needed and also told him to forget about friends, family, and Roxanne. Finally that day Johnny did come to his appointment to meet Roxanne, but he just left leaving a confused Roxanne.
Forget about love.
Years later, Johnny had grown up and he became a famous star because he always performed thrilling motorcycle riding attractions. He always succeeded in every action, even though according to normal humans it was difficult to do and very life-threatening. At the same time, a demon named Blackheart roamed the human world and gathered his men named Gressel, who had the power of sand, Wallow with the power of water, and Abigor with the power of wind. Blackheart gathered them all to help him find the San Veganza contract that had been stolen and hidden. Afterwards, Mephisto came and questioned what Blackheart was doing in the human world, and Blackheart, who turned out to be his own son, claimed that he wanted to rule and replace his father. In the human world, Blackheart was stronger than Mephisto, but Mephisto said that although he had no power, he had a rider who had terrible power. Sometime later, Johnny was about to do another crazy attraction and he met Roxanne, who worked as a reporter. Johnny, who always refused all interview requests, wanted to be interviewed by Roxanne, but he instead focused on asking about Roxanne.
You know, I watch a lot of TV and you do really...
Finally, when the interview was over, Roxanne chose to leave and not watch Johnny's attraction. Even so, Johnny, who did the attraction to jump over 6 helicopters, finally succeeded in doing so, and he immediately went to chase Roxanne. Shortly after, Johnny caught up with Roxanne on the street and he managed to persuade Roxanne to have dinner. Later that evening, Roxanne arrived at the restaurant where Johnny had met her, but Johnny had not yet arrived. He was apparently still preparing to leave, but at that moment his hand became hot. Johnny then felt something, and when he came out, Mephisto was already there and gave orders to find Blackheart and destroy him. Mephisto also said that if Johnny was successful, then he would return his soul. Johnny refused that, but he was already under the contract, so he was under Mephisto's control. After Mephisto gave the order, Johnny immediately sped up on his burning motorcycle, leaving a trail of fire. Then when passing by, he would destroy everything around him. After a while, Johnny was thrown off his motorcycle and became hysterical with pain. Then his skin burned until his form became a skull with flames burning. After that, Blackheart immediately appeared in front of him and he sent his men to fight Johnny. Johnny easily escaped their trap. Then he managed to destroy Gressel.
Back to hell.
Blackheart and his remaining men seemed to have left, and Johnny changed his motorcycle and chased after them. On the way, he saw a criminal who was threatening someone, and Johnny immediately took care of it. He let the victim escape while the criminal was punished using the power of the Ghost Rider, who could burn the criminal's soul just by looking at him. Johnny continued like that all night. When morning came, he rode his motorcycle to a cemetery to visit his father's grave. By then his form had returned to normal and he was unconscious. When he woke up, Johnny was already in a room, and it seemed that he was helped by an old man who worked as a cemetery caretaker. The cemetery caretaker seemed to understand Johnny's condition and knew about the contract he had made. He also offered to help Johnny. Johnny seemed to comply, and he allowed the undertaker to treat his wound. While treating, the tomb guard told Johnny everything he knew about the Ghost Rider's powers, the story of the city of San Viganza, and the identity of Blackheart and his men. After being treated, Johnny went to see Roxanne.